Today, we're going to learn about Cuba. While you're in Cuba, you should be aware not to wear flashy clothing or bring purses into cities or towns. That's because there's plenty of people there willing to beat you up to steal your money. You should also be aware of con artists. There's plenty that will try to take your money at any cost possible. While you're at the airport, be aware of where your bags are at all points of time. That's because recently there's been a spike in baggage thefts. Also, try not to make any contact or talk with any Cubans because they could call that harassment and you'd get in big trouble with the government. While you're there, there will be plenty of physical and electronic security, so be sure not to carry any knives or weapons around with you while you're there.
In Cuba, there are many different sports you can play, including fishing, well, you can do in the nice open waters, or bike tours are given a lot, and you can easily find a bike anywhere. There are a few good trails you can hike on, but whatever you do, don't camp out. It's not safe. But hiking tours are also given. You can hunt, but you need a permit to hunt. There are water sports, including scuba diving and sailing in the ocean. You can see sunken ships and fish while in the ocean scuba diving. Cuban teams have done well in the World Baseball Classic. Many Cubans have gone to the baseball in America to gain more money because America pays more. Basketball courts can be found everywhere. In many towns, you can find gyms and hardcore.
Traditional Cuban food is influenced by Spanish, Afro-Caribbean, Portuguese, French, Arabic, and even Chinese foods. Some foods you might encounter in Cuba are ajiaco. It's a stew made with meat, garlic, and vegetables. Pork with garlic sauce is called mojo quiero. It may be served with that. Congri is rice cooked with red kidney beans. Rice with black beans is called moros y cristianos, which means Moors and Christians. Fufu is made from green bananas that have been boiled and mashed. It is sometimes served with crumbled pork rinds. Fruta de maíz, corn fritters, are often served as sweet at street stalls. Canelos mardos frios, fried sweet bananas, may be served as a dessert. Nature in Cuba. Cuba is the island that has the largest area of left alone rainforest, safe reefs, and full wetlands in the Caribbean islands. Cuba is also home to many different animals. The salamandra is a chubby insectivore, and the bee hummingbird, which is lighter than a U.S. penny. Culture in Cuba. There are a lot of museums in Cuba. There are also a lot of historic museums in Havana. Some important ones are the Museum of the City, the Museum of the Revolution, the National Museum of Decorative Art, and Maria Nueve de Oro. Some plays reflect the reality of Cuba by reacting with a heavy critical base. In the late 1990s, some theaters brought back some unstaged plays like Asinte by Robert Oihiro. Some of last century's plays rewrote the textbooks in Cuban theater. Vivian Martinez Tabres once said, "Cuban theater maintains a flame that moves all the time in the area of ideas. Since there is little space in the newspapers, theater offers a terrain where an ethic discussion is possible and which artistically creates a process, through language and expressions, that maintains alive the ideological debate that is taking place inside today's Cuban society."
Now we're going to learn about some historic sites and places in Cuba. Of the 851 worldwide properties that were estimated for their universal value, 8 of them are located in Cuba. They include Vinales Valley, which is best known for its tobacco production, and then there's also Old Havana, which was a major ship center in the 17th century. Next up are the first coffee plantations in southeast Cuba. They illustrate the agricultural advances that have taken place in Cuba since then. Then there is the Desembarco del Granma National Park. It's a marine. Next up we have the Alejandro de Humboldt National Park. It's a tropical island. There, the ecosystems and topography there vary very much. The Urban Historic Center of Cienfuegos is a large trading place located in Cuba. There is also the Trinidad and the Valle de los Ingenios. They were both built during the days of the sugarcane. San Pedro de la Roca Castle is located in Santiago de Cuba. There are large fortifications that were originally built to protect from both political and commercial rivalries.
Let's talk about the weather in Cuba. Average temperatures do not vary in Cuba. In the summer, they are 77 degrees Fahrenheit and at most 81 degrees Fahrenheit. During the winter, they usually reach about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. May to October is the wet season in Cuba. You can expect violent storms in Cuba during August, September, and October. In Cuba, its culture is influenced by many different countries, including Spanish, African, Caribbean, with a little bit of Chinese. The music was influenced by African and European Spanish. It's in Cuba, English and Spanish is spoken.
Right there.
Cuba's exports include sugar, nickel, tobacco, fish, medical products, citrus, and coffee. Some of their imports include petroleum, food, machinery, and equipment, and chemicals. Some of the popular places to go are the capital, Havana, Cienfuegos, Guantanamo, Bayamo, Santiago de Cuba, Las Tunas, Holguin, Montezanas, and Santa Clara. The national anthem of Cuba is Al combate corred vaya meses que la patria os contempla. Orgullosa no temáis una muerta gloriosa que morir por la patria es vivir. En cadenas vivir es morir en afrenta y oprobio. Sumidos del clarín, escuchad el sonido, a las armas valientes corred. Cuba celebrates independence from the United States on May 20th. Cuba was administered by the U.S. from December 10th, 1898, the day of their independence from Spain, until May 20th, 1902. The national holiday is the Triumph of Revolution on January 1st. That happened in 1959. Some of the other holidays include Easter holiday, All Saints' Day, Christmas, other Catholic holidays. Cuba is around 85% Roman Catholic.
Cuba was discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492. It is widely thought that he was the first person to discover it, when the natives actually had been living there for many years. These people are called the Amerindian people. After Columbus came and killed many of the people, he left and colonized the rest of the country. The United States helped intervene in the Spanish-American War to help Cuba get their independence. They finally overthrew Spain. It took a 3-year transition period between 1892 and 1902 for the country of Cuba to win its independence. It won its independence in 1902.
Cuba's economy has slightly taken a dip. Raul Castro is trying to reform the country's government and economy. Their currency is the Cuban peso, or CUP. The country is pretty flat except for the southeast part of the island, where there is Sierra Maestra, a range of steep mountains. The highest point is 6,840 feet above sea level. This point is called Pico Real de Triqueno. This is also the highest mountain in Cuba. The dry months are November to April, and the wet months are from May to October. The main tour spots are Old Havana, Cuba's old capital, Havana, Cuba's current capital, and La Habana, a fortress that used to defend against attackers.